Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Dbacks Dispatch. The trio is back here today because we're doing it at a reasonable time, not 11 p.m. I'm looking at you, Josh Hunt. Yes, I'm calling you out, sir. But everyone, thanks for tuning into Dbacks Dispatch. This is your first time on the channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. We do series recaps. Occasionally, we do one on a single game, like last night, because last night was drunk at like a party on New Year's Eve. I swear. That's what that game felt like. But we're going to go over the series as a whole. Fellas, how are you feeling?
I am feeling like though my world is ending. Nothing, everything is meaningless. No, um, it's early. These are frustrating losses. I wish we could have taken the series from the Cubs, but they have probably a future Hall of Fame manager on their team, and these close games. I mean, he knows what buttons to push. I mean, he's been pushing it his whole career with the Brewers, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get it done. They made some moves today. Brought up J Mart, which I'm excited for. He did really good. Still got a few more moves in the bullpen to take care of, namely Matt Supply. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We just gotta regroup. Hopefully, take 4 from San Francisco. Right, they start the series tomorrow. So take what you can out of the division, especially, I guess.
Brett?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Like, it's definitely unfortunate. You always want, just like any sport, anything, you want to see your team win. It's unfortunate when they don't win. I mean, at least for me, I was, especially during the game and during work, a little overreaction and sad boy hours for an hour or two. But they're at least the silver lining is they're close games. Like, I believe every one of their losses they've had, going back to maybe when they lost to the Rockies like 7-3. Maybe even that one was 7-4. I don't know, but most of the losses have been 3 runs or less. I know we talked about that, I believe last night or on the other show.
No, you did.
They're in these games. They're close. It's not ending how we wanted a lot of them, especially with like how the offense can kind of get lulled to sleep. But I mean, I'm not really like panicking it at all. It's again, game 18 was today, or maybe 19. Like, we're still plenty early in the season. It sucks. You want to win these games, but it's not if we're not getting blown out, we're not, just absolutely shitting the bed everywhere. Like, want to see the defensive mistakes get cleaned up, want to see the offense kind of be a little more consistent, but it's not the end of the world.
It depends on who you ask. I was seeing in some places online that they're like sick and tired of the same thing happening over and over. I'm like, y'all, it's game 18. Like, I get you get frustrated when this offense doesn't play well, but that comes and goes with the ups and downs of a baseball season. Every team goes through that where they have stretches where like it seems like everyone can hit. So it's not that shocking. Ryan, if you have a connect with Elon and you can send Jace to space, please do. Because dear Lord.
Can I say something real quick? Without anybody getting mad? No. Lovello, after the game, he said, he had a quote about Jace, like, we got to get it figured out. I'm like, are you French? Who's we? Like, we don't got to get anything figured out. He needs to go. Like, there is no discussion there. Like, he's batting 50. Like, I have, like 3/4 here that are worth more than his batting average. Like, he's just garbage. I mean, I don't hate him. I don't hate him at all. Like, he seems like a good person, but he does not need to be up right now, at least. If you can, send him to Reno, bring up literally whoever. Bring up the ball boy in Reno. I don't care.
I hope soon they bring up Colton Wong because they did sign him to play in Reno. He's been there, I think, like a week. He's looked pretty good, but let's just rip the Band-Aid off. We're going to go ahead and start with game number 1, a game me and Brett were at on Monday. D-backs lost 3-2 because they decided, let's make this rookie Ben Brown look like a Cy Young candidate. The only positive from the game Jake McCarthy continues to rake. Like, that was the only positive that I got out of this game. Merrill, he threw too many pitches. Didn't have a single inning. He went 5. Didn't have a single inning where he threw less than 16 pitches. Merrill, we need you to go longer. Like, we really do need you to go longer. There was at one point 17 straight retired. That's not good. If you want to go back to where you were last year and make it to the World Series and win it, you cannot have games like that. You just can't. Yeah, Ben Brown, fastball and a curveball. That's literally all he threw.
Yeah, I know there's Jake, obviously, is definitely positive. Corbin as well, though. I mean, with all that we've been talking about, the offense, the late innings just not showing up. Corbin's especially early season struggles, swinging early in the count, not getting like super solid contact. It was really nice to see him have a good at bat against a decently tough lefty. And, again, it didn't really matter in the end. But at the time, a really clutch base hit in the 8th inning. Like, that place got pretty loud there for a minute. There was 2 or 3 positives, but there's not many. It was a little bit of a rough game offensively.
Yeah, it was really tough. I mean, it just shows people are scared of Ketel, or they know how poorly Corbin is hitting right now that they're like, we can probably get Corbin out. But there will come a time where teams will not either pitch around Ketel or intentionally walk Ketel to pitch to Corbin because you're going to get burned. And hopefully this is he has looked a lot better, I'd say, over the last week than he did like the first week and a half, 2 weeks of the season. Like, he still continues to swing at the first pitch. So I'm like, can you please stop? Like, it's definitely something that has me a little bit like, I'm not like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, but definitely has me worried there. But from an outside perspective, someone that wasn't at the game, was at a movie, by the way. Gabe, your thoughts on game 1?
Well, I had to go rewatch the first Spider-Man in theaters. First time
Is
since
that
I was
really what
6
you
years old.
saw?
Yeah, that's what I went to go see. It was so freaking good. It's so good. Everybody needs to go see it. There's so
My
much
brother
better than
just
Tom
saw
Holland ones.
Shrek in theaters, so I didn't realize they were doing more of those older movies. So that makes sense.
Yeah, that's mostly like come these sort of months when there's nothing on at the movies. That's usually what I watch. I'm gonna watch Grease. I'm gonna watch Indiana Jones. Might as well. But yeah, so my thoughts on this first game. I was checking it throughout. I would just go to the bathroom, check the score, check some plays and everything, and suddenly seeing like two strikes, Ginkle, 2 outs, and I'm like, all right, they got this. Turned off my phone, went back to my seat. Movie ended. I walk out, and it's like, oh, it's not over. Like, what happened? And I see all the text, and it's just like everyone wanting to die, and I'm like, you know what? Like, might as well die here too. I mean, I don't know what happened, but I'll join you guys. But man, that was a heartbreaker the way it ended. I know Ginkle said that like if he could replay it over, he would go, try to fetch the ball too. But these are costly mistakes, especially towards the end of the game, and it's unfortunate they couldn't get the job done. I would feel like this is one of those things where it wasn't. I mean, it was the bullpen, but it wasn't like the typical bullpen we expect. Like, throwing balls and giving up home runs. It was literally just a pass ball. And I think that's the one that Gabby got hurt on, right? If I'm mistaken.
Yes. That's
so
what they said.
it was just 2 unfortunate things. It was a loss, and we lost Gabby, which we really needed him today. So it was unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely a bummer. Yeah, So I didn't realize how far that ball got basically while pitched on until I rewatched the game. I'm like, wow, that thing's almost by the visitors' dugout. Like, that thing went far. So I'm not surprised that Nico Horner scored from second. Horner's has decent speed. It's just a bummer because I don't know. I'm hoping Seawald gets back here soon. It's not that I don't trust Ginkel in the ninth. I just feel like he's not as effective. And some people say, oh, he pitches great in the eighth, he can do the ninth. Not always the case. It's a mindset, and some guys just can't do it. But the bullpen wasn't awful in this game. It could have we went Castro and he single and then walk. I'm like, oh dear Lord, this is about to get really bad. But he got the next two out, and Mantiply came in and got one guy out. So they were able to limit, it wasn't that bad. I was like, all right, maybe Castro's turning a leaf. No, it's just we should have been able to get one more in the eighth there when Corbin got in. So yeah, I think he can do it for a couple of games, but long term, it would be nice when Seawald's back.
Yes, before we go into game two, I also last thing that I wanted to bring up again is Bryce was nice. I know he got the loss. I know that it's thankfully an unearned run because I for some reason just learned that the Ghost Runner does not count towards their actual ERA, which makes sense. Good. So unfortunate that he got the loss, but I mean the fact that the Cubs put across that run and the bases were loaded with one out still, and he was actually still able to get out of it without any more damage. It was just that's a tough situation for any reliever to be thrown in, especially 2 innings in a row of extra innings. And he did a really good job. So
that pitch was that pitch was at his head. It's not like Bryce made a bad pitch down.
Yeah,
that thing was high. That thing he hacked at it. I mean, I don't know how he got it.
I didn't. That thing was probably a foot at the top of the zone. The fact that Nico hit that, I'm like, okay, that's not on Bryce. When a guy makes a good pitch or a bad pitch like that, that's not hittable, and the batter does something with, I'm like, props to him. He's doing what he can to win his team the game. You can't blame the pitcher for giving up that hit. You're not. There's only a few guys that do that. Vladimir Guerrero Sr. was one of them. You can't. Yes.
I forgot about that.
Which still boggles my mind is that he was a good bad ball hitter. I was like, he wasn't a good ball hitter. How does that make any sense? But no. It was nice to see that Toy was given Bryce a high leverage job, and I feel like he did a really good job.
He really did.
Both teams' bullpens in this series got taxed bad. So any other thoughts on game one, fellas? Because game one was kind of boring. Okay, on to game number 2, which was an absolute shit show. You guys went over this last night. It was absolutely insane. I'm not saying that I predicted how Ketel Marte's playing this year, but I had a feeling after watching him in spring training, I was like, he looks like he hasn't missed a beat in the playoffs. He looked like he hit the ground running in spring training. I'm like, he's gonna have a good year. And so far it's looking good. This series, he had probably 8-9 hits in the series because he had 4 yesterday, right? And 3 today? I think he went 4-6 in game 2. He is truly special. When he's healthy, I truly feel he's one of the best players in baseball. He is, for me, he's a top 3 second baseman when he's healthy.
100%. The fact that he was not even in some people's top 5 lists going into the year, and Stott's a great player, but I'm sorry, there's no universe where Stott should be ranked above Ketel. People that did that should have their
no. It's just it's Phillies fans who feel like all the players on their team are better than everyone.
Well, no,
else.
But MLB Network genuinely, at least if I'm remembering correctly, if I'm wrong, please let me know. But I believe seeing on like MLB Network, there's a few like polls from some of their hosts that like had Bryson Stott as like a number 2, with Ozzy Albies as like maybe like Altuve number 1. Albies is like a maybe 2. Then they had
Mookie Betts. For
yeah,
some
Mookie
reason,
Betts there.
too.
Like there was some ridiculous list that
Yeah.
like kept
How
Kitzel
can
out of the
Mookie
top
be a
5.
top shortstop and a second base? He can't. You got to choose one. Like, because they had him as a top second baseman. And I'm like, at the start of the year, I'm like, he played like 40, 50 games of that. And then as soon as they make the announcement that he's the shortstop, he's automatically a top 5 shortstop in baseball. I'm like, I get he is very athletically gifted, but the dude has to play at least 40, 50 games. And offensively right now, he's playing very well. Like, he really is. I don't know he's that good defensively as a shortstop. Like, I've seen him make some errors. Well, you want to know why? I don't have it, Josh.
Ooh. Get
Get him. Get
him.
him.
So now I gotta find it.
Yeah, William Harold says here, I've had to turn off the games when the bullpen takes over. Terrible for my anxiety. You guys want to see what I was doing during this game when the bullpen came in? I was painting otters. That's literally what I was doing. I ended up painting 2 freaking otters just because of how long this game was and just how like frustrating it was to deal with.
Sir. You happy now?
Gabe, I honestly
realize
I would have painted or done anything else other than watching that bullpen, and I did. I was at a beer league softball and talking with my parents in the garage, and let me tell you, it was way better than dealing with that shit show.
Yeah, this game. Not saying I called it, but after seeing Tommy Henry's outing, I'm like, we knew that Montgomery was coming soon. I'm like, and I think I said on our post show for the Cardinals, I'm like, Tommy Henry's next start is going to dictate what happens. Like, who's going down? I thought maybe they might give Ryan Nelson, but Tommy Henry made that decision very clear for them. He looked good early. He looked good. And then that 5th inning, dude, like, the wheels came off. The wheels came off in that 5th inning for Tommy Henry. Like, it's not that I don't like him. He is very, like, pitch around the strike zone based. He doesn't throw fast. His breaking stuff isn't that great. So if it hits too much to the plate, he gets whacked pretty hard. And we saw it there in the 5th inning. I think they had, 4 or 5 hits in a row?
Yeah, I know this might not be an exact 1-to-1 comparison, but for some reason watching him, and again, I like him. I think he's way better than the player I'm going to compare him to. But sometimes I just get like lefty Zach Davey vibes. We're like, yeah, you might get like 5-6 innings maybe on one of these days and be like, not bad. But most of the time, there's going to be in each outing where he just gets rocked because again, he doesn't. I know it's not all about velo. Zach Gallen doesn't throw more than like 95, 96, and he still gets guys out consistently. But like he still misses bats with other pitches. Tommy Henry just doesn't have many of those like kind of pitches to miss many bats. Like, I know it sounds mean. I'm not like. I think he has the ability to work on that and still improve on it. We've seen flashes of it, but I don't know. It's just basically batting practice out there in like 1 inning out of the 5 that he goes and pitches. You just kind of got to guess what inning it's going to be. Is it early? Is it going to be his last inning of the night? You never know.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. And like, you feel bad for Tommy. And I feel like, yeah, as Ryan Page is saying, I think he'd be a decent bullpen. I think one time through the order, he does pretty well. Oscar, that's it. I'm sorry. I have to do this. I have to put Oscar in timeout for that. I really freaking do. Oscar, no.
Good thing
So
I
he
didn't
doesn't. he says we should bring back Mad Dog. So
I
Oscar,
think a 60-second timeout is worthy of that.
yeah. I was like, let's put you in a timeout, so you can't post in the chat there for a little bit. But I mean, this game was something. Like both these bullpens were so bad in this game. Just run after run after run. I think it was Swanson's single. The one that Corbin, like, I watched that. I don't know if that was a trap or a catch. It was really hard to tell because his glove is on the ground, and just the way that the ball hits the lip of the glove, it looks like it bounces into it. So I get why it wasn't overturned, but like, had they ruled it a catch, I could have seen it, them keeping it as a catch.
So. Yeah, so even watching some of the replays, because when I was at my parents' and that was on in the background, I didn't see the play. I just heard the call, whether it stood or not. So I was, kind of like you on the broadcast, just listening to Steve and Bert and Bob, and they basically were like, "Oh, I don't know, it looked like a catch to me." So I was kind of like, the D-backs got screwed. Watched the replay, and I was like, I mean, I agree. It's 100% whatever the call originally made was going to stand. Like if you said, if he would have caught it, because it's just there's not enough evidence to overturn it. Yeah, the glove looks like it's underneath it, but with how bright and red the glove is, you feel like you'd see a little bit of that poking out in between the grass and the white ball, and like you couldn't really see it. So I could see why they kind of just stuck with the call they had. Like you don't want to make it a super pivotal overturned call, and kind of have that be the focus on the game instead of the rest of the game, that went on.
Yeah. So, that game was, sorry, I'm trying to get Oscar back. Sorry, guys. I think I did this incorrectly. So let me go ahead and try to fix this.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said most of my thoughts yesterday about this. They had a lot of issues throughout the game. But I mean, just that Cotel home run. I think just like for everybody who was still there, that like I'm sure that pumped everybody up. And then the walk off. I mean, it's good to get Grichuk like show that he should be on this team because we didn't have him early in the season and everything. So it's nice to see him contribute to this team, unlike certain guys on this team. But I don't know. But yeah, so it was a good win. I was hoping that we could ride the wave a little bit going into the next game, but fortunately they didn't. And with the way they hit today, I'm like, they all went to Fogo de Chao afterwards. Like, there's no way they all went home and had a good night's sleep. Like, they were getting litty or something. Because, man, Gurriel and Walker were just not it today. But we can get to that when we get to the next game.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure this out.
Did you like accidentally permanently ban Oscar? Yeah, make sure you text Oscar and let him know that we're trying to get him back.
Like Oscar, if you're still watching, I'm sorry. I thought because it said put user in timeout, and I didn't hit ban user, so I think we just have to wait because I think it's like 3 to 5 minutes. So.
Oh man,
Oscar, I'm so sorry. I'm not doing that again because hopefully I didn't mess it up permanently because I'll feel so awful. Yeah. I'll feel so awful.
Signed up for 300 seconds. Oh, okay, no, that's not bad.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 3. Okay, so we're fine. I don't think I should, or do it to people that aren't in our chat consistently, like Oscar is, which we appreciate so much, Oscar.
Yeah. So we don't want to actually ban anybody with that wants to chat in here. We welcome all chatters unless you're a bot.
Yes. Let me see. Is there anything?
I said I don't have anything else on game 2.
Jock hit his first home run.
Good point.
as a D-back. And I love the whole body language thing. Like, he hits it, he's like, stay fair, stay fair, stay fair, stay fair. And yeah, it did. Yeah, offense. It's weird that I don't think the Cubs had anyone that really hurt us. It was just everyone hit. Like, Cody didn't go off.
Cubs have a decent
Like,
lineup.
yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate how like decent that they are. Like, everyone's like, well, on paper they don't look that great, but they get the job done.
And I mean, I know Gabe called him I don't know if you said a future or a potential future Hall of Fame manager, but Council does a damn good job managing, man. I know just like any manager, they're gonna get flack online for. I mean, we've have our moments with Torrey sometimes, but Council just seems like he manages well. Like, he was letting Wesneski go because Wesneski was just cooking the entire time today. The D-backs couldn't touch him. Where maybe other managers go, you had 2 innings. We need to get some other guys some work in today. We don't want to fully burn you. Where he's like, no, like, I'm going to go with the hot hand. Like, if I need to take out my starter at a 4 1/3, I'm going to take out my starter at 4 1/3 in a tied 2-2 ball game to keep this game close. And it was clutch. I mean, Wicks did a pretty solid job with what he started with. But that was obviously game 3. I apologize. But the thing I like about the Jock homer that you're mentioning is Gurriel's reaction to it. I know it's all like, everyone can just be like teammates, happy for each other, whatever, but it's just genuinely nice seeing how connected the team is with just guys that are just here for already just only a month or 2 now. Like, Gurriel was like screaming, jumping around like he would if Gabby would have hit a homer. They were like, buddies in the dugout, like we saw with Gurriel and Gabby, rubbing their head together. It's just nice to those little moments, like how much this team just seems like they mesh together and they just genuinely love each other.
Yeah, like it definitely feels like it is a very close, tight-knit clubhouse, for sure. Like, it just feels
I think some would argue maybe a little too close from some of the clips.
We have it. He's good. Oscar is back. Yay!
Gabe, are you referencing them sword fighting after every win in the outfield?
Sword fighting, holding hands, rubbing each other. I mean, like I said, it's just guys being guys, like just dudes being dudes. We all do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it there for game 2. So let's go ahead and transition to the rubber match. Game 3, Brennan Pfaadt. This was his first, I think, stellar regular season outing of his career.
He had a really good one against the Giants last year. That the offense also shit the bed on.
Yeah,
I think he went 7 innings, had like 7 or 8 Ks, maybe 9.
Yeah, like I was very impressed. I'm like, okay, like, we know that that he's going to be like, he is this team's number 5 starter now,
possibly number 4.
But I think before we get into game 5, we got to talk about all the moves they did before today. Like, there were a plethora of moves that the Diamondbacks made. And Torrey said in the post-game press conference after yesterday's game that there were going to be some moves that were made today. And boy, did they make some moves. Hold on. I'm trying to. So, we recalled Justin Martinez. Thank the Lord. We've been asking for that. Like, because the way that everyone else was pitching, I was surprised they brought up Logan Allen. I was
not expecting another lefty.
I was expecting Saul Frank, if anything.
Yeah, I was too. I definitely was. They option Luis, I'll be nice, Frias. And then obviously Tommy Henry. And we got the real bummer news of Eduardo Rodriguez going down to the 60-day DL. But I think it's retroactively to what, so it's not 60 days from today, thankfully. So it's probably 60 days from the start of the year. So we're already like 20-ish days into that. So
I believe Jesse on Twitter said that it's going by just the actual dates. would be May 24th is the earliest, but
Okay.
I think they're gonna probably look around like an early June because again, I don't think they want to push him. And they're gonna
So,
look for like an early June kind of thing. So like 2 months basically.
so Ryan, you have 2 months, like 6 weeks or so, to prove do you belong on this major league roster, or if you do good enough, the team might like he could be good enough where they trade him for a bullpen arm, or he's included in a package for a bullpen arm.
Who's the A's closer? Just bring him on. They're in a fire still right now. Just bring him on
Mason
over.
Miller.
Yeah.
Is he that different than Justin Martinez? Other than
I mean,
he
I don't
probably
care.
has better command than Justin Martinez right now.
I don't even mind an excuse to again. I know we like Castro, but if it means that like we have a dude that, and again he's still a rookie over there for the A's. He's young, he could still have his ups and downs, but I don't know, man. With the way the Guardians are playing, we're not getting Class A, so I gotta pivot my agenda to another hard throwing, 103-mile-an-hour pitcher from the. Actually, you know what? Here's a spitball. We're gonna get Johan Duran back from the Twins if they're gonna keep sucking. There we go. There we go.
Dude, they can't hit for nothing right now. That's their
Yeah.
issue. Is their bats are just cold as ice right now, and you kind of feel bad for them. Like it's just bad. Like it's just really bad for the Twins right now. So if you're a Twins fan, I definitely feel sorry for you. We already kind of discussed it. Ketel's just on fire. He ends literally the game last night with that home run. It is a laser that just basically sits on the wall for about a second, and it counts. So it's a home run. He ties the game. Was it first pitch today? Did he hit that home? So his third leadoff home run of the season. I believe it was the 7th of his career. Ketel is just. Is there any other second baseman in baseball right now that's playing better than him?
No.
I think it's too early to start to discuss all-stars. I really feel like that shouldn't be even a discussion until at least 60 games, so like June 1st. But if he continues to what he's doing, he definitely has a shot there. But no, like Fott did really well in this game. Like the bullpen didn't do all like. I feel like the bullpen didn't necessarily blow this. Offense just kind of. They just didn't play very well. So I wouldn't blame this on the bullpen. Another thing I want to shout out for game 2, Mikel Castro pitched very well. Or was that today? Because there was game where because he went like almost 2 innings.
That was yesterday. That was yesterday. When they were actually down, I think, by like 3 runs still. He kept them in the game.
Yeah, so very good there. But Gabe, floor is yours for game 3.
It's one of the more frustrating games. I feel like it's just as frustrating as the other ones. Just the offense, man, it was bad. The stat at the end of the game was 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. That's runners in scoring position. That's not including all the other guys who are left on first. Like even in that first inning, Corbin was on third with one out and nothing. Gurriel and Walker, I think, were 0 for 7 this game, like combined. They just got nothing. There's no offense from anybody not named like Ketel Marte. It was honestly kind of really pathetic. Especially because you have this young guy on the mound. It's like you kind of have to like tee off of guys like that, but they didn't. They just a lot of really bad swings, a lot of like early swings, especially like Corbin swinging at the first pitch a lot. He worked a couple walks, which was good. And here's the thing about Corbin: he has a 350 on base still, and when he gets on first, he's on third by like 2 pitches later. So he's still impacting the game. He finds ways to get on base. He's still great, but man, Ketel is just on a different level. He went was 7 for 9, 7 for 10 these last couple games. Like he's on a crazy tear, and I love seeing that from him. But man, a lot of these other guys really got to step up, especially Gino with that error. Like that really cost him the extended inning for Fott. Like Fott was rolling, and then the error happened. It seemed like he lost his composure a little bit, but then he found it, and then he came back. He was able to go 7. I mean, he went 7 innings. That should be 3 runs, 7 innings. That should be enough for the team to win. But they just couldn't do anything. They couldn't score, and then they just look flat. Like, and this is like 2 different teams. They'll come out and they'll be super hot and flashy. It's almost like the Suns, where they'll just have like these games where they look unbeatable, and then they'll come have games where they just look completely flat and lifeless. And today was one of those. And like Brandon Fogg's the true ace of this staff. Like he's completely dominant in these types of games. Like I'm so excited to see more of him because, and as a 4th starter, this is where you're getting at your 4th starter. Like especially come playoff times, you're talking about Gallen, Merrill, Montgomery, and Fott. These are guys who can get you a combined 28 innings in the playoffs. Like that's crazy. When have we ever seen that before? Like in general, like almost never. But yeah.
Great thoughts there. Carroll has 8 stolen bases. Right now, he's on pace for about 50, which is not that shocking. Like Gabe said, he might get a walk, and then 3 pitches later, he's on third. Like he's just that fast. Walker didn't have a hit in this series, but he had like 4 or 5 walks. Like his on base percentage is like 400. Like he's being very patient at the plate because he knows behind him he's got Suarez, he's got Jock, he's got Grichuk, he's got Moreno. Like he knows there's guys behind him that will drive in runs. So, and he's probably not going to get pitches to hit, or if they do, they're going to be inside. Like I have always found it so weird how teams just pinch him hard inside constantly for like the last like 3 or 4 years. Like it's always like really in. So, but Ryan brings up, I think, the biggest stat of the series. The inability of runners in scoring position is just mind-numbing. It's just tough to watch. You're like, what are these guys doing? It's just tough.
And Oscar brings up a good point too about like this team looking dead. Like they lose a lot when they don't have Thomas, Perdomo, and Moreno, which are like these are the guys who like really hype up the team, especially Perdomo and Alec. Like they have like their celebrations, they're in the dugout and everything, and just without them out there in the field, like it really does feel like they're missing something. And it's not just their offensive and defensive abilities.
Yeah. So Tuesday, they had a middle inning interview with Merrill Kelly. And I love how he introduced Domo as his son. Kind of throwing it back to when Domo brought it up in spring training. And like immediately they throw like he's like, there's the camera, and then you can just see Domo getting like all excited for the camera. Like Domo is just he's just a fun guy. Just life of the party. He's just probably such a great teammate. Like he's always very supportive. But no, Fott looked at me like 7 innings, 94 pitches. That is very efficient. Like that's what you want to see. If a guy goes 6 or 7, if you keep it like between 90 to 95, I'd say that's a fantastic outing. So you go 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 were earned because there's the one on the weird play with Gurriel and then Suarez with that error. So yeah, that one was kind of weird. Friend of the podcast, Shrimpy, stopping in via Twitter. We appreciate it, sir. Thanks for stopping by. So it's really great. So Brett, floor is yours for game number 3.
So first off, got to make sure I say this whenever I get the chance. Brandon Fott agenda grows once again, continues to rise. I agree, Gabe, a true ace of the staff, behind Milkman, the true Milkman, not this fucking poser in Baltimore. Okay. Cow's in his name. No, fuck off. Okay. No. But Fott's agenda continues to grow. No whiffs on his fastball today. The Cubs, I think that was one of his harder hit pitches. He threw, it seemed like a decent amount of sinkers. Felt more like 21 sinkers. Pretty balanced overall. Like 29 fastballs, 27 sweepers, 21 sinkers, 11 changeups. Felt like less than normal, and then 6 curves. Really sinker happy. I don't know if he was feeling it. Maybe he wasn't feeling the fastball. Unfortunately, did see the home run issue continue with him. Thankfully, it was only one. It was a solo. So if he's going to give up a home run, rather have it be solo shots. So it's inevitable, especially with a hitter like Bellinger. Like Bellinger was a little cold going into the series. He was due to break out. He always likes hitting in Arizona. But another thing, big cock jock, second home run back-to-back days. This one against a lefty was really good to see. I know it's Drew Smiley. It was huge. I know, like, obviously it made it like it felt like a, Chris Paul hits a huge 3 to cut the lead or the deficit to 40 kind of moment, just because of the vibe with the offense at the time. But it's always good to see the guy that's like, oh, he can't hit lefties, and be like, okay, fuck off. Let me go, 400 against one. J-Mart, BFF, brought up. Love seeing. Even he wasn't even just like spamming fastballs today. Looking at the Baseball Savant, he threw 11 sliders, 7 four-seamers, and 6 splitters. So he was definitely trying to. I don't know if you, again, kind of like with Fott, I don't know if he was just feeling the slider a little bit more. Maybe it's what Strami and Lovello were telling. Hey, we want to see you throw this pitch more. We want to see you get more control of this pitch. Not too sure, but he was really solid in the short outing. I wish they would have brought him in a little sooner, maybe when the game was still 3-2 instead of 5-2. But just, it's always nice to see more reliable arms out of the pen. I know it's just one start or one appearance so far in the year, but if you can continue that, I think it'll be a very crucial piece to this bullpen that we've been missing so far. I agree, Jace to the gulag. I can't do it anymore. I know the Nick Ahmed meme of I just can't watch it. That's me anytime Jace is there, especially Blaze. Like you can't sit Blaze anymore. I believe it was Brandon or Gabriel, one of you guys, I believe, made like a tweet or said it in the group chat. Like you can't sit this guy. You can't let Blaze Alexander sit. And I get you want to give Jace's shots, but when they're almost getting the same amount of playing time, one guy's actually producing and one's not. You gotta do what you did last year with Mad Bum and Davies and Nick Ahmed. You gotta cut them loose, okay? Like you gotta cut it loose at some point. Yeah, Blaze is hitting 310 and Jace is hitting 1/10 of that. Or
0.53.
1/6 of that.
0.53.
Yeah, so
I think Kevin Newman has done a decent job where he will be the shortstop until Domo comes back versus righties, which I'm okay with because Kevin Newman has done decent. Like, it's not like it's a little bit of a drop off the way Blaze has been playing. Blaze actually had a good series defensively. He made a really good play last night it was a great play overall. Like, Christian makes a great play. Christian's been making so many great plays lately, and he just shrugs it off like, yep, that's normal. Like, he just makes these I know everyone loves Goldie, and I know how important he is to this franchise, but it might be recency bias or fresh in my mind, but I think Walker is a better first baseman.
Yeah, I feel like that way too. I really love the way Goldie played first base, but just seeing Walker, it's like literally any ball that goes anywhere near him, he gets, and I just like how it's like, watching prime Nick Ahmed, where just every ball that was hit anywhere near him, you would get, and you're like, how did he do that? Like,
it's like a tractor beam. Like it gets close, he's got it. Like, there was a play, what was it, Tuesday, pop up like right in foul territory. He didn't know where it was, and Cattell's like, oh, I found it. It was funny because Cattell caught it like right at his waist. Like he's like, oh, that's where the ball is. Like it was the one time I'd seen Christian like struggle on a pop up, but Christian is like he's like a vacuum over there. Like he just makes these plays, just make looks and like Blaze was very acrobatic with his play too. Like it was just insane. So
Yeah.
I definitely want to see. Like we know lefty on the mound, Blaze is in. I think they've established that. Whether and it's going to be as DH because they're going to put Grichuk in right field. And I think with Roddy on the mound, it's going to be Jake and right until Alec gets back. I think once Alec gets back, then we're going to see what Torrey's going to do. Because I think Jake has done enough that Torrey needs to give him playing time. Jake is hitting very, very well right now. He didn't play today, but I think he's batting like 260, 270 or something. So like he's like I think Jake is doing very well. I'm very pleased with Jake. Jake literally had the only hit for this team on Monday for about 2 hours. When no one else chose to hit, like he got that hit in the second to give us that 1-0 lead. And 36 at bats, he's hitting 278. It's not getting on base outside of his hits. His on base is only 297. Gabe, any final thoughts on Game 3?
I just wish we had it back. These are the games that we want to win, and unfortunately, we didn't win them. And hopefully, we do a better job tomorrow.
Brett?
Yeah, kind of like Gabe saying, especially if you go back to last year, one of the main reasons the D-backs even made the playoffs was because they took care of games like this one against the Cubs when they needed to. You know, when you look back at the end of the year, when you're looking at the wild card and even like some of the division games, you start to count on your hands. You're like, that game you could have taken back. This at bat could have gone a little different. Hopefully, this isn't one of them. I think they'll do a good job of just flushing it, going to San Fran, and hopefully trying to kick the shit out of the Giants.
Yeah. We go to hold up. Just getting the matchup. So game 1 is Nelson versus Webb. So I mean, if Nelson can pitch the way he did his last start, I'll feel pretty good about that. Game 2 should have been the Scott Boras client game. Blake Snell versus Jordan Montgomery. But Montgomery's like, peace out. Scott Boras.
Oh, sorry. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I thought you were saying like he wasn't going to start. I was like, wait, what do you mean?
No. I'm saying because Scott Boras
I'm picking up what you're putting down now. Yeah.
So game 3 is Gallen versus TBD. Giants have not announced who that is. And then game 4 is Merrill Kelly TBD. So we have this is going to be I just hope make sure everyone's not too overly critical with the Montgomery start. Just if he doesn't have a good outing, it's okay, everybody. He's only had 2 starts. He didn't get a full spring training. So it may take him 2 or 3 starts to kind of get up to speed. I know how D-backs Twitter is when a pitcher has a bad game or it's just a bad game in general, they act like the sky is falling. And I'm like, y'all need to stop this. Y'all did this last August, and then you were like, woo, we made the World Series. I'm like, what were your thoughts in August? And if I went back and looked at your tweets in August, they were probably saying fire Torrey.
Yeah, they're begging for the Suns, and they're like, "Oh, at least the Suns said the Suns to watch now." And then they immediately did the same thing with the Suns because that's Arizona sports fans to a motherfucking T.
Yes, it's so bad. But no, I think it's really hard to preview the series when we don't know the Giants pitching matchup for Saturday and Sunday. But Ryan Nelson is going to have to pitch the game of his life. I think Logan Webb is phenomenal.
Yeah, he really
Logan
is.
Webb is one of the most underrated pitchers, I think, in baseball. I don't
which
think
is
he
crazy
gets.
because he keeps getting like second and third in Cy Young, but he's somehow like just completely forgotten by the media. But I think it's literally just the East Coast bias. They don't care about anybody who isn't like a Yankee or a Red Sox or, not on the Dodgers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're not on any of those teams, the media doesn't care about you.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've seen it with our team. We've seen it just a lot of players. I've even done it myself sometimes where I kind of will only know who players are because of whatever media I'm listening to. Thank goodness for YouTube, because now I can actually listen to more niche, like, content creators and other spaces, and learn more about other teams. But like, you never hear about some of these pitchers until like you see them in person. Like Kyle Harrison, one of their top prospects, lefty. He was one of the best, I think, the best lefty pitching prospect in like all of minor league baseball last year, with insane strikeout numbers. And you never hear about. And I get prospects, but it's different. It's just some West Coast ones and all that, they just get forgotten about. Like the Padres. The Padres Padres having a really good year so far to start. Like, I think they're pretty hot, and like, and even that, I think it's a lot of the recency bias, and I'm guilty of that myself sometimes. Of, you look back what they did last year, and you're like, oh, they sucked last year. They sucked this year too. It's like, I mean, no.
No, it's because they lost Hader, they lost Snell. They probably, some people would say he got a worse manager because he got fired from the Cardinals. But y'all, they still got they. I love Uncle Blazer. I really, really do. Jackson Merrill is the front runner for NL Rookie of the Year right now. What he's doing, only because he's been given the opportunity to play every day. I think that's the only reason. Like, if Blaze had the opportunity to play every day, I think their numbers would be similar. But no, Jackson Merrill, former shortstop, like the amount of former shortstops that they have on that team is just ridiculous. It's like 6, because you got Profar, Tati, like their entire outfield's a former shortstop. You got Machado, and you got Kim, Bogarts, and their first, literally their entire starting offense outside their catcher has played shortstop. So,
And that's kind of like what we were saying earlier with that East Coast bias, like Gabe said, with if you're not a Dodger, and if you're not any, I feel like even the Mets still probably get more like coverage than like just even like teams that are in the running here in the West, and even like the Midwest.
yeah. So, but kind of back here to the Giants series. I know a lot of people kind of have the Giants. Some people predicted them going second, because I think a lot of people weren't buying into the Dbacks at the beginning in spring training. Like, they thought they got lucky on their run. I'm like, it's not like the Dodgers and Phillies were injured. They just played better. So, but like, everyone's like, Giants had a good offseason. But what is Matt Chapman had a good first week. He's batting like 200 right now. Soler's been playing pretty well. Jung-Ho Lee has been okay. So, yeah, I don't know what we're gonna get out of this series. I know Logan Webb's gonna be tough to go up against tomorrow. Snell is kind of in the same spot as Montgomery. They just started playing baseball again like a month ago, so they're both probably pretty rusty. So that game will either be 2-1 after 6 or 7-6 after 6. There's no in between. It's either no offense or lots of it. So, but I still think the D-backs, it's either going to be a split or D-backs win 3-1. I think offense will. We aren't going to see a lot of homers because it's San Francisco, and it's just hard to hit the ball out there. So, Gabe, I guess preview thoughts on Giants D-backs?
I've been saying it this whole time, but I'm expecting a series win at least. Because we can't come out tied, especially with the pitching matchups that we have. We have our two aces. We have Fago, Nelson. I mean, that
Nelson.
one's a bit of a toss up, yeah. So I'm expecting, at least to be able to give them a good. I would hope a bit of a beating too. Like get some of these guys right, get some hard hit doubles and triples. Like they need to get their confidence back desperately right now. So hopefully they're able to do something. And like Oscar says, enough with the lefties. I'm like, it's bad. Like
I want to
every
see
time.
Jock play, y'all.
And yeah, I mean, the Giants are a good team for the most part. They've been having their early struggles, but they're going to turn it around at some point. They're going to be competing against us. So, it's early, but still a really, really important series because this could end up determining the wild card position. So they have to win. They have to at least get the series win out of them, and then come. Well, I mean, they're going to St. Louis after this, and so you want to be leaving San Francisco with your head held high with the series win, especially with the tough schedule.
Yeah, we have what is it, like a 12-day road trip coming? Let me take a look at the schedule here. So yeah.
10.
So we have this is gonna be tough. Because we got 4 at the Giants, 3 at St. Louis, and then 3 in Seattle, and then we come back home to play the Dodgers. So what, a 10-game road trip? Anything less than 6-4 is a disappointment to me.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, with the Mariners also kind of being up and down, Julio being cold.
So yeah, like if they can go 6-4 on the road trip, be fantastic. I mean, more would be is icing on the cake for me. But like, I don't want to see sweep. Like I don't like when this team gets swept because I feel this team is too talented to get swept by other teams. Even with the Dodgers, I feel like we can take at least one anytime we play the Dodgers. Like Braves, for example. My man Shug here in the chat. I wonder if Otani will have the over or under on your next 10 games. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. I'm trying to go to one of the. I'm going to try to go to one of those Dodger games for sure. Finally, that Wednesday game is going to be a night game and not a day game. I'm tired of these Wednesday day games, y'all. It's only been like 3 weeks, but I can't stand it. Like, I feel day games should only be on Saturday and Sunday or on like special days like opening day, Labor Day, Memorial Day, or like 4th of July. Any other day, I feel like should be a night game. Unless it's a Saturday or Sunday. So,
I kind of like I like day games, honestly. Weekday day games, it's kind of nice. Quest off the day from work, go down to the ballpark. It's just
some of us can't do that, sir.
Oh, I know, but still, it's also nice for the those Wednesday day games are great for especially like little leagues and some of the youth programs. Like those are one of the better like times for them to organize something to go down there. So it's always nice to have them every now and then. Keep the youth interested in baseball.
All right, so we got bold predictions here. I'm trying to think of mine. Jock hits a McCovey Cove blast. He did play for the Giants for 2 years. He is a lefty. It's a lot easier to hit it there in McCovey Cove. And I'm pretty sure both home runs that he hit the last 2 days would have been in the Bay in San Francisco. I'd have to go look back at StatCast, but I'm pretty sure those are both home runs there. So that's my bold pick. Brett, your bold pick for the series?
Man, that's kind of a tough one. I'm gonna say Corbin gets it going. I think we're gonna see multiple multi-hit games out of him. Maybe even a few a few triples. Take advantage of triples alley.
Not a bad one. So yeah, Jock's home run today is a home run in every ballpark. So that's not surprising. Let me look at yesterday's. According to Baseball Savant, which is a freaking gold mine, y'all. Like anything you want out of there is interesting. Cattell's home run would have been in 25 to 30 ballparks. It wouldn't have been one at Oracle, that's for sure, with that wall there. So where is Jock's home run? Hold up here. Gabe, you got any bold picks for the series?
Since you're saying it already, I'll get Cattell hitting a homer into McCovey Cove as a right-handed bat against Blake Snell. He's probably going to throw a changeup outside. Cattell's just going to be able to muscle it through for a homer there.
FTK. Dude, so I went and visited my friend Shug like 2 weekends ago in LA, and we went to his daughter's softball game. Y'all, that stuff is hard to watch after watching Major League Baseball. Oh my lord, the fielding, like just the fundamentals makes me just like I get these are like 10 and 11-year-olds, but oh my lord, it was tough.
Yeah, I used to umpire. I think it was like right after I was too old for Little League, and I was like still in my really just anything baseball phase. I was like, I want to learn how to umpire. So I went to umpire school, did the whole 9. So when I came back to Arizona and would do it for the Little Leagues by me, when I was any home plate game, I would give them an easy like ball, maybe ball and a half outside of the plate because like, hey man, I already know how tough it is for sometimes high schoolers to even control like getting it in the zone. Or if these little 12-year-olds are getting it anywhere near the plate, I'm ringing them up, dog. This is not Greg Maddux versus Randy Johnson in a game where we need to have a perfect zone. Like no, we're out here to get the kids interested in baseball. It sucks when you can't throw a strike. I get it, and I can only imagine in slow pitch softball, and no. Not slow pitch softball, even like regular pitch softball. Youth sports in general are rough to watch. Like if you have a kid in it, I imagine it's a little bit more bearable because you're like, oh, look at little Timmy go. Yeah, go son. Woo. Whereas like somebody, if you don't have any like skin in the game, you're like, I'd rather go watch like a poker stream. And I hate poker. Like I don't know.
Yeah. This is one of my coworkers from work. Fernando, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it very much. It's all my life is the Dbacks when I'm not at work. So yeah, I try and learn as much as I can. So I just looked this up. So on Cattell's home run on the Tuesday night game, his expected batting average on that, 990. I was like, oh my lord. So they're like, yes, that's a hit regardless. But no, I definitely need to look more into these advanced numbers because some of them I understand and some of them I don't. So, but just real quick, just want to give a shout out to Tommy Troy. Hit his first home run of the season for the Hillsboro Hops tonight. 108 exit velo, 416. Yeah, it's on our Twitter, so make sure to go ahead and check it out at Dbacks Dispatch. Tommy Troy, y'all. I have high hopes for him. Like, I know a lot of people like, why did they pick him in the draft? Because you can never have enough shortstops. Because they are I will stand by, and the Padres are proof of it. If you have a shortstop, they can go somewhere else. Because they are that athletically gifted, you can put them somewhere else. So you can never have enough shortstops in your organization. Because you can put them somewhere else. Like, they can literally play anywhere else besides pitcher, catcher, and first base. So, Brett just posted it. You draft for talent, and then you worry about what you need later, because you can always just
You don't do what the Angels did 2 drafts ago, and you just draft nothing but pitchers. Like that's not a sustainable thing. Like even for years, like I know when we drafted Pavin Smith, I was like, why the fuck are we drafting a first baseman? We have Paul Goldschmidt. You know, he's not even the guy that replaced Paul Goldschmidt.
Thank God.
Like you never know. You just because you draft somebody doesn't mean like it's not the NBA, it's not the NFL. Like guys aren't in the league usually like within a year or two. They're like the Wyatt Langfords and the Jackson Holidays and probably the Paul Skeens. They're a little different, especially the way college sports I feel are trending and how just like they are as athletes and how prepared they are so quickly. But it's not going to be the the same thing for all of them. Like you sometimes you just got to go for whoever fits the best skill set. Like that's why, like you said, you drafted Tommy Troy. He's 3 years older on Lawler, so makes sense why he's already probably going to be a little bit more experienced, have some of those more kinks worked out, just because he's got a little more age to him.
I will say this right now, Ryan. Everyone that's freaking out, calm down, please. He came off shoulder surgery. Not everyone's going to be Jackson Holiday. He is the exception, not the rule. So I might be alone in this, but I'm not worried about Drew Jones. Some guys just take longer to develop from high school. Like, not everyone's going to be Corbin Carroll where they're ready to go in 18 months, 24 months. It's okay. We have plenty of outfield depth in this organization. There's no reason to rush him. If he's not playing well right now, don't worry about it. So, Gabe, any final thoughts on the Cubs series or preview Giants?
Let's go win in San Francisco. Let's go win in St. Louis. Like, they just come back. We got punched in the mouth. Let's go and punch them in the mouth.
Let's get over 500, gentlemen. That's what I would love to see when they come back here at the end of the month to play the Dodgers, that they're over 500, which I think is entirely possible. Brett, any final thoughts?
I mean, kind of like you said, just get back to 500, just play a little cleaner baseball. Get back to the Diamondbacks baseball we saw last year, just fundamentally sound. And better, but just better offense. Like I know, like some of the at-bats haven't been terrible, but some of them have not been great. A lot of them have looked uncompetitive. So I want to see a little bit more fight out of the offense, especially late in the innings.
So yeah, everyone, thanks for stopping by. If you have not yet, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you do get notified whenever we go live. We'll be going live here after this Giants 4-game series, so we got a lot to talk about. Hopefully, we're talking about a Jordan Montgomery win in his first start. That would be amazing. We'll see you all next time.